My name is Christian Ashley, a seminary student and servant of God, and you are listening to the Let Nothing Move You podcast, a proud Anazal Ministries podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of the Let Nothing Move You podcast. I'm your host, Christian Ashley, as we continue on through the book of Numbers. Today, we'll be in chapters 25 through 27. Now, just for the sake of transparency, I did not have the time that I normally do to transpose my notes that I write down first to my document. It's been a very busy week. We lost one of our dispatchers at campus police, so I have been working in the backup dispatch role. My dad came in for the night because he's on his way to Chicago, and then as soon as I'm done with school today, I'm going to Chicago to go see my brother and niece for the weekend, so I definitely wouldn't have had time to record then. So unfortunately, I was also in the midst of taking 5 classes at seminary right now, just so I can finish in May. That's a lot of assignments due. So here we are. This is why I'm not going to be as structured as normal. Maybe you don't notice. Maybe you do. Who knows? I just wanted to be upfront and honest about that as we just go forward here. Today, we're going to start with Numbers 25. We're going to go through verses 1 through 18. Well, Israel lived in Shittim. The people began to whore with the daughters of Moab. These invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. So Israel yoked himself to Baal of Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said to Moses, "Take all the chiefs of the people and hang them in the sun before the Lord, that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel." And Moses said to the judges of Israel, "Each of you kill those of his men who have yoked themselves to Baal of Peor." And behold, one of the people of Israel came and brought a Midianite woman to his family, in the sight of Moses and in the sight of the whole congregation of the people of Israel, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. When Phineas, the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose and left the congregation and took a spear in his hand, and went after the man of Israel into the chamber and pierced both of them, the man of Israel and the woman, through her belly. Thus the plague on the people of Israel was stopped. Nevertheless, those who died by the plague were 24,000. And the Lord said to Moses, "Phineas, the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the people of Israel, in that he was jealous with my jealousy among them, so that I did not consume the people of Israel in my jealousy. Therefore say, Behold, I give to him my covenant of peace, and it shall be to him and to his descendants after him the covenant of a perpetual priesthood, because he was jealous for his God and made atonement for the people of Israel. The name of the slain man of Israel, who was killed with the Midianite woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, chief of a father's house belonging to the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur, who was the tribal head of a father's house in Midian. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Harass the Midianites and strike them down, for they have harassed you with their wiles, with which they beguiled you in the matter of Peor and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the chief of Midian, their sister, who was killed on the day of the plague on account of Peor." So we come from that moment in the chapter before of God blessing the people of Israel, and Balaam and Balak being unable to curse them, to now a new plan being crafted. We'll find that in chapter 31, the instigator is Balaam. It's like, well, if we can't curse them directly, we can get these jokers to curse themselves. You know, they're not following God correctly, which, by the way, would lead you to think, maybe God doesn't look at these things favorably. Maybe I should be learning a lesson from this. But unfortunately, Balaam's pride and greed was too great. So God has been supernaturally protecting the people of Israel from being cursed. But Israel ends up cursing itself by intermingling with Moabites and Midianites, who are getting them involved in idolatry and debauchery. Now, before we go any further, let me just preface, this is not a story about the evils of intermarriage, between races, but intermingling between incompatible faiths. I have seen far too many people use this as an example of, well, that's why you don't commingle with other races. That's why you got to stay pure. And this has absolutely nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with keeping our faith pure. Our faith cannot intermingle with madness. It cannot intermingle with sin. Following God means following him only. That's why he calls himself a jealous God. That's why he's able to call himself a jealous God, because he knows he's the only one we should be looking to. He is the only one that we should say, Lord, you are Lord alone. Because if we add someone else, if we add Baal, if we add Zeus, if we add ourselves, we're missing the point. There is no syncretism here. There is no ability to say, well, your truth is almost pretty good. Well, actually, it may even be is just as good as mine. These are absolutes, and God is a God of absolutes, and He cannot abide someone in the very strong language used here, whoring after other gods, after other practices. Now, there's the spiritual whoring here and the literal whoring here done by the men of Israel, going after the daughters of Midian. And that's where the problem comes in. They know better. They should be seeking good wives for themselves who are seeking God, just like they themselves should be seeking God. But they are proving with their actions that they don't trust God, that they don't love God. So, of course, God sends a plague there to wipe out a bunch of people. We don't have to be happy about it, but we do need to understand and submit. Now, one important thing that we're noting here is that this does not mean that it is evil for us to, commingle with the world in any way, shape, or form. You've got your ultra conservative view of, well, if the world is evil, therefore there's nothing we should take from it. And that runs antithetical to spreading the gospel. That runs antithetical to loving our fellow man. It runs antithetical to what Jesus tells us to do. I'm moving forward to John 17, verses 14 through 16. I should also say I'm dealing with allergies right now. My favorite time of the year is approaching. So if my voice sounds a little off, that's why. In verse 14, Jesus says, I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one. That, of course, being Satan. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. So you see here, Jesus plainly states for us, we are to be in the world, but not of the world. What does that mean? It means that we hold fast to truth. It means that we keep to Him. We hold to the laws, the moral laws of God, these absolutes that must be followed. We don't get led astray by false ideologies. We don't get led astray by false ideas and promises. It's like, well, don't you really want to love your neighbor? I mean, what's the harm in them having this relationship outside of marriage? Straight, gay, bisexual, whichever. It doesn't matter. Like they want to be happy. You want them to be happy, don't you? You want them to feel loved, don't you? I do want them to feel loved, but I also want them to feel loved. And what they're doing isn't love. Any relationship that is outside a man and woman being in marriage to one another, being honest to each other, holding each other accountable, loving one another as Christ loves the church, is not compatible with God. It is not compatible with love. It is by definition lust. I cannot then say, hey guys, you're doing great, because that would be me compromising for the world, living with the world and their ideals versus living in the world against their ideals. And you see how God feels about this. Like, this is one of those classic examples. Oh, that hateful, evil God of the Old Testament. He just gets better when he has a kid later on in the New Testament. No, this is still the same guy. This is still the same guy that's going to kill Ananias and Sapphira for what they do, for lying in the church. It's the same God who's going to bring judgment upon the Pharisees who did not believe in what Jesus had to say when they're committing the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. God's not going to have mercy on them. Just like that, He's not going to have mercy on the people of Israel who are engaging in this. And that's something we should be very afraid of. Not in the sense of we cower in fear and we live our lives like, oh, well, what's God going to punish me for now? But no, just understanding God has this power to do this at any point in time, because there is great sin in the world. So we are called to be in this world that is full of sin and yet not be afflicted by it, yet not give into it. And there are going to be many people who have different stances. Your classic example, some Christians say all horror movies are bad. Some like me are like, well, lots of them are good. There's some that are bad. Like, you can watch a horror movie and be fine. You can, I don't know, you can drink alcohol and be okay. Like, some people are going to be like, okay, to remove the chance of that sin, I'm going to abstain from alcohol. Nothing against that. My issue is when we attempt to enforce that on someone else, when we try and get a horror movie banned because we don't like it or what have you. That's not living in the world. That's not loving the world that's lost. Instead, why not have a conversation about it? Or say, hey, you don't drink. Why is that? Well, I've got a bad family history and I don't want to keep propagating that. Or I really don't like the taste of alcohol, or I've seen what it does to other people and I don't want that to happen to me. And I want that to happen to everyone I love. That's a better argument than Well, you shouldn't get drunk, and alcohol is evil because of that. Because that's preposterous. We have multiple people in the Bible drink. Now we're going to tell them they're evil simply because they did so? No. So learn where the world is at, learn what God says about where the world is at, and they be part of the world, but not the world itself. Do not conform to them. And the Israelites here have conformed to the Midianite people and their way of debauchery and their way of not loving God as they should. But what really saves them here is the actions of Eleazar, who once more proves himself a worthy successor to Aaron by having righteously taught his son Phineas to zealously defend the people from sin and evil. And Phineas then righteously kills the source of the sin and the one who seduced the one who sinned, in stark contrast to what would happen later on with the Pharisees and the woman in adultery, if that is indeed scripture, which there is some doubt to that. It's not in the earliest manuscripts, but that's a discussion for another time in John. And that it's so brazenly done so in full view of everyone, including his own family. Were this action that Phineas had done not righteous, God wouldn't praise him for his actions. And this saves Israel from their punishment from the plague that God had sent to correct his people. You've got people go, well, he's a murderer. He killed this poor woman and this poor man. It's like, no, he recognized what was at fault here. These people were so blatant in their sin, they were doing it in front of the tabernacle, of the tent of meeting. It says, you cannot be doing this, number one. And number two, you're doing it right next to where we meet directly with God. Have you no shame? Have you been afflicted by the world that much that you bring evil right next to God's holy place? I mean, could you imagine if there was a pastor out there or just a member of the congregation who just engaged in these actions outside of marriage right in front of a church or inside the church? Just how blatant that would be. Let me just show you how sinful I am. Let me just show you how mired in the world that I am. There needs to be something done here. And while at this point in history, the best option was to get rid of the problem permanently. Sorry, I'm becoming a man. Permanently. And obviously today, we would not handle it that way because we're not under that strict law in the same sense. We are still held to the moral law. We are still told that is evil. So there needs to be punishment for that. Like if there's that person is a deacon or an elder, they have just lost their job. If it's the pastor, they've especially lost their job. If it's a member of the congregation and they're completely unrepentant, completely unwilling to go under church discipline, they're gone because their sin is so blatant, because they're unwilling to admit that they're wrong. And we'll go from there to chapter 26. We'll go through verses 1 through 34. After the plague, the Lord said to Moses and to Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, take a census of all the congregation of the people of Israel, from 20 years old and upward by their fathers' houses, all in Israel who were able to go to war. And Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho, saying, take a census of the people from 20 years old and upward, as the Lord commanded Moses. The people of Israel who came out of the land of Egypt were Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, the sons of Reuben of Hanok, the clan of the Hanokites, of Palu, the clan of the Paluites, of Hezron, the clan of the Hezronites, of Carmi, the clan of the Carmites. These are the clans of the Reubenites, and those listed were 43,730. And the sons of Palu, Eliab, the sons of Eliab, Nemuel, Dathan, and Abiram. These are the Dathan and Abiram chosen from the congregation who contended against Moses and Aaron and the company of Korah when they contended against the Lord. And the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah when that company died, when the fire devoured 250 men, and they became a warning. But the sons of Korah did not die. The sons of Simeon, according to their clans, of Nemuel, the son of the Nemuelites, of Jamin, the clan of the Jaminites, of Jachin, the clan of the Jachinites, of Zerah, the clan of the Zerahites, of Shual, the clan of the Shualites. These are the clans of the Simeonites, 22,200. The sons of Gad, according to their clans, of Zephon, the clan of the Zephonites, of Haggi, the clan of the Haggites, of Shuni, the clan of the Shunites, of Ozni, the clan of the Oznites, of Eri, the clan of the Erites, of Arad, the clan of the Aradites, of Arali, the clan of the Aralites. These are the clans of the sons of Gad as they were listed, 40,500. The sons of Judah were and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Judah, according to their clans, were of Shelah, the clan of the Shalanites, of Perez, the clan of the Perizzites, of Zerah, the clan of the Zerahites. And the sons of Perez were of Hezron, the clan of the Hezronites, of Hamul, the clan of the Hamulites. These are the clans of Judah as they were listed, 76,500. The sons of Issachar, according to their clans, of Tola, the clan of the Tolaites, of Puval, the clan of the Punites, of Jashub, the clan of the Jashubites, of Shimron, the clan of the Shimronites. These are the clans of Issachar as they were listed, 64,500. 300. The sons of Zebulun, according to their clans, of Sarad, the clan of the Saradites, of Elon, the clan of the Elonites, of Jaleel, the clan of the Jaleelites. These are the clans of the Zebulunites, as they were listed, 60,500. The sons of Joseph, according to their clans, Manasseh and Ephraim, the sons of Manasseh, of Machir, the clan of the Machirites, and Machir was the father of Gilead, the clan of the Gileadites. These are the sons of Gilead, of Eazar, the clan of the Ezrahites, of Helek, the clan of the Helekites, and of Azriel, the clan of the Azrielites, and of Shechem, the clan of the Shechemites, and of Shemida, the clan of the Shemedites, and of Hefer, the clan of the Heferites. Now, Zelophehad, goodness gracious, I practiced this earlier. Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, had no sons but daughters, and the names of the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, the daughters of Zelophehad were Mala, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These are the clans of Manasseh, and those listed were 52,700. Now, after that rousing session of pronouncing names that are hard to pronounce, what we have here is, after the events that had just happened in chapter 25, as they're getting closer to the promised land, Israel needs to know how many of them there are, for the sake of warfare and for land allotment. Through their wanderings and sin, Israel has lost, tens of thousands of people. So they need to have an account of their numbers to show that God is still faithful to them and blessing them with numbers. One of the themes of this book is the numbers of Israel. There's a reason that is one of the titles given to the book, in that God is still blessing them despite their apostasy, despite their sin. They have, we're going to find about 2 million-ish people as we continue on here. Like there's about 600,000 fighting men, if I remember correctly, before we go further in these verses. Once again, if I'd had my notes always prepared, I would have known that before you, but here we are. But as to show, look, despite all these stupid things you've been doing, in the 40 years we've been in the desert, we've been in the wilderness, I've been faithful to you, Israel. I have made you grow. I have not shut the wombs of mothers. I have given you the ability to have families, to be able to prepare for when you enter the land, to just take advantage of the good things that I've given you, because you are blessed, because you are looked after. And all these tribes have thousands of members that are going to populate these parts of Israel, but they need to know how many, who's capable of fighting, what they can do about all this. So they're thinking about the logistics. And God is the one behind this census saying, look, I need you to know the numbers you have. Because remember, when you went up against the spies, when they came back from reporting the land, you felt like you weren't enough until you decided to fight anyways, but that's a whole separate issue. So yeah, the Canaanites may outnumber you, but also remember who's on your side, who's been faithful to you. There is one important thing to note here. In verse 11, it mentions that the sons of Korah did not die. Now, if you go back to 16, you see that Korah's family dies. So are we dealing with another contradiction here? Well, no. This simply means that Korah's family who remained with him died. But these sons of Korah recognized their father was a wicked man, that he was not following God, and went away from the camp. Because as you'll notice back in 16, in Korah's rebellion, God points out everyone who stays in that camp dies. And Korah's family had multiple opportunities to get out. So either the sons weren't in the camp to begin with, or in the process of being separated from all the rest of Israel, they left. Now, we don't know. It doesn't focus on that. But God allows a remnant to survive because they recognized the wickedness of their family and repented and went to Israel so that they could be with God, which just shows his loving kindness and mercy. Oh, that wicked old God of the Old Testament. Oh, no, it turns out it's still the same guy offering mercy to those who repent, to those who realize their failings. So yeah, I also would have had more notes for that one. But unfortunately, once again, we're in the situation that we're in. So thank you for understanding. And with that in mind, we're going to continue on to verses 35 through 65. These are the sons of Ephraim, according to their clans, of Shuthelah, the clan of the Shuthelahites. Oh, that is terrible for a lisp. Of Becher, the clan of the Becherites. Of Tahan, the clan of the Tahanites. And these are the son of Shuthelah, of Aran, the clan of the Aaronites. These are the clans of the son of Ephraim as they were listed, 32,500. These are the sons of Joseph according to their clans. The sons of Benjamin according to their clans, of Bela, the clan of the Belaites, of Ashbel, the clan of the Ashbelites, of Aharam, the clan of the Aharamites, of Shephupham, the clan of the Shephumites, of Hupham, the clan of the Huphamites, And the sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman. Of Ard, the clan of the Ardites. Of Naaman, the clan of the Naamites. These are the sons of Benjamin according to their clans, and those listed were 45,600. These are the sons of Dan according to their clans. Of Shuham, the clan of the Shuhamites. These are the clans of Dan according to their clans. All the clans of the Shuhamites, as they were listed, were 64,400. The sons of Asher, according to the clans. Of Imnah, the clan of the Imnites. Of Ishvi, the clan of the Ishvites. Of Beriah, the clan of the Berites. Of the sons of Beriah. Of Heber, the clan of the Heberites. Of Malchiel, the clan of the Malchielites. And the name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. These are the clans of the sons of Asher, as they were listed, 53,400. The clans of Naphtali, according to their clans. Of Jaziel, the clan of the Jazielites. Of Guni, the clan of the Gunites. Of Jezer, the clan of the Jezerites. Of Shillam, the clan of the Shillamites. These are the clans of Naphtali, according to their clans, and those listed were 45,400. This was the list of the people of Israel, 601,730. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Among these the land shall be divided for inheritance according to the number of names. To a large tribe you shall give a large inheritance, and to a small tribe you shall give a small inheritance. Every tribe shall be given its inheritance in proportion to its list, but the land shall be divided by lot. According to the names of the tribes of their fathers they shall inherit. Their inheritance shall be divided according to lot between the larger and the smaller. This was the list of the Levites according to their clans. Of Gershon, the clan of the Gershonites. Of Kohath, the clan of the Kohathites. Of Merari, the clan of the Merahites. These are the clans of Levi, the clan of the Libnites, the clan of the Hebronites, the clan of the Mahlites, the clan of the Mushites, the clan of the Korahites. And Kohath was the father of Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt. And she bore to Amram Aaron and Moses and Miriam their sister. And to Aaron were born Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died when they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord. And those listed were 23,000. Excuse me. Yeah, thought I had my numbers wrong there for a second. Every male from a month old and upward, for they were not listed among the people of Israel, because there was no inheritance given to them among the people of Israel. These were those listed by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who listed the people of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. But among these there was not one of those listed by Moses and Aaron the priest, who had listed the people of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord had said to them, They shall die in the wilderness. Not one of them was left, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. Now, another practical reason for this census is to prepare for the conquest of the land, so that who will live where and how much land will they have. This will should prevent tribal disputes over, well, I think we deserve this land, we should be here, I think my people should settle here because it's better. It's like, no, it's done by lots. It's done by according to what God said, according to the population of the people, and according to where he wants to put them. Through their wanderings and sin, looked at the wrong thing there. So, for example, Simeon will have less land than Judah because they have fewer people. So the idea being, okay, Simeon, you only have this many people. Therefore, Judah will have more land than you. But Simeon, you still have land, and you still have enough land for your people. Easy peasy. And we'll go from there to chapter 27, verses 1 through 11. Then drew near the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, from the clans of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. The names of his daughters were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the chiefs and all the congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, Our father died in the wilderness. He was not among the company of those who gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died for his own sin. And he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be taken away from his clan because he had no son? Give to us a possession among our father's brothers. Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord said to Moses, The daughters of Zelophehad are right. You shall give them possession of an inheritance among their father's brothers, and transfer the inheritance of their father to them. And you shall speak to the people of Israel, saying, If a man dies and has no son, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. And if he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest kinsman of his clan, and he shall possess it. And it shall be for the people of Israel a statute and rule as the Lord commanded Moses. Now here we see that the daughters of Zelophehad faced a crisis in that they wouldn't be able to pass on their father's inheritance, as he had no sons, which is how things were done then. Now, instead of floundering around and despairing, they wisely bring their concerns to Moses, so that God may answer their plea for help. And God, once more, has not made a rule that he knows should exist in order to test his people when that need for a rule arises. And the daughters pass. Moses pass because he goes directly to God. He doesn't just make a judgment on his own. The daughters passed because they realized there was something that needed to be done, and then they did something about it. They asked the proper authorities, what should we do here? And because God loves women as much as he does men, he protects them in the law and gives freedom not found as abundantly in the ancient world at the time. You ever hear anyone say the Bible hates women? You know who says that? People who don't read the Bible, people who don't understand what's happening in this book. And we just look back upon it with our chronological snobbery, good old Lewis, and just say, well, they don't have the rights that we have now. Therefore, they were wicked. Therefore, God hates women. We're just so much more enlightened now. We're just so much better now. And it's foolishness. Are there things that are way better now than back in the day? Absolutely. I quite love the security that we have for the most part in America. And I know other people aren't in America, but there are freedoms that are allowed in the countries that I do see in my analytics here that simply didn't exist back in the day. And it's so wonderful that this is brought up here. Like, God could have made this rule a while back and we never would have had to censor it, but instead he deliberately did not do it. So that it could be done in front of all of Israel and to see, okay, these women have just as much a right to inherit as the men do if there's nothing that can be done. If for whatever reason the man does not have sons and only has daughters, those daughters have value. Those daughters are important to God, and that he's going to protect them in the law. He's going to protect that inheritance in the law to make sure that they are looked after, to make sure that no one could take advantage of them unless they weren't using the law well. And that's the same God, Old Testament, New Testament, same guy, loving women, loving men, loving human beings. And we'll continue on from there and finish today in verses 12 to 23. The Lord said to Moses, go up into this mountain of Abarim and see to the land that I've given to the people of Israel. When you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people as your brother Aaron was, because you rebelled against my word in the wilderness of Zin when the congregation quarreled, failing to uphold me as holy at the waters before their eyes. These are the waters of Meribah, of Kadesh, and the wilderness of Zin. Moses spoke to the Lord, saying, let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, appoint a man over the congregation, who shall go up before them and come in before them, who shall lead them out and bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord may not be as sheep that have no shepherd. So the Lord said to Moses, take Joshua the son of Nun, a man of whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand on him. Make him stand before Eleazar the priest and all the congregation, and you shall commission him in their sight. You shall invest him with some of your authority, that all the congregation of the people of Israel may obey. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire for him by the judgment of the Urim before the Lord. At his word they shall go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the people of Israel with him, the whole congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and made him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole congregation. And he laid his hands on him and commissioned him as the Lord directed through Moses. And his command for Moses to die will be fulfilled at the end of Deuteronomy. But Moses doesn't focus on himself. You know, that humble Moses we talked about earlier. It's almost like he's humble. It's almost like he's learned some lessons in his long life. Not to worry about himself, but worry about other people. Instead, he worries about the future of Israel, knowing without a strong leader, they will fall. So he asks God for help. And what does God do? Well, the guy you've been preparing, the guy you've been mentoring this whole time, Joshua, I'm raising him up. My spirit is inside of him. He's going to lead. And this will comfort Moses, who now knows that Israel will be left in capable hands. And that's what we ask of good leaders, that they have been taught well, that they have been forged in fire, that they are listening to God, that they are following after God, so that they can lead us. Now, as someone who wants to be a leader, I want to have these qualities. I want to be submissive to God. I want to be someone who listens to wise counsel. I want to be someone who leads people effectively, who does not lead them astray. And in various ways, we're all called to be leaders of a sort. Some are called to be pastors. Some are called to be politicians, what have you. Others, we're just called to lead in moments of crisis, in moments of, hey, I just need someone to talk to. So right here, instead of focusing on himself, instead of focusing on ourselves, we go, well, what should we do, Lord? Who should be the one that I've been doing these things? Is there someone else who can do them after me and may even do them better? So we have Joshua, we have Moses, and we have this great gift offered by God. And with that, we are done for the day. Thank you all for listening. Please, if you get a chance, leave a 5-star review on your podcasting platform of choice. Help us with the ratings there to find more people. Please feel free to share the show with your friends and family members. If you're interested in my fiction writing, you can find my works at starvingwritersguild.com or on Amazon by searching for the name MC Ashley. If you're interested in some further solid studies into the Bible and its teachings, then check out the other members of the Anazon Ministries podcasting network. You can find me specifically on Systematic Ecology, Why I Don't Like, Friday Night Frights, and Some Joyful Noises. You can contact me at letnothingmoviepodcast@gmail.com. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Joshua Knoll for the editing that he does and for the music he has to the podcast. And with all that in mind, God bless you in accordance to his will and not mine. Allow me one more time to remind you, let nothing move you.